brazen enough to sneak into the camp for this?
Yes. People are angry. They can't see how much good we've done for everyone since we got here. They'll come around, though.
Yeah, the god.
Whoever did this, better pray to all the gods that they aren't discovered.
Build another palisade just like the last. When this one falls, one of you adherents will win.
Spot to rest.
If the stone wall up pointy sticks don't stand a chance.
I haven't seen this much excitement in a while. Perhaps I've got you to thank for bringing it with you, envoy.
out there.
After your voyage, it must be nice to spend the night on dry land. Personally, I've always found the rocking of a ship to be soothing. As long as I've got my feet facing the bow, that is. You know, for most people, getting sent to the living lands is a punishment. But, according to Steenrick, you're the personal envoy of the Emperor of Adir himself. Quite a position. You must have gone through one of Adir's famous academies. I can't imagine you had time for much other than your studies, so tell me, is this your first time getting dirt under your fingernails? The living lands won't disappoint in that regard. Though the experiences on offer here had been the end of plenty of intrepid sorts. What I really want to know, since hard questions are your specialty, is why the Emperor would send his best scholar all the way to the living lands. Oh, that almost does sound like a punishment. I don't know how you investigate a so-called plague of the soul, so better you than me. Being a godlike, I don't suppose your patron deity gives you any unique insights into matters of the soul, do they? I thought every godlike knew their god. That's one of the stranger things I've heard. And out here, that's saying something. Sorry, these are unusual times. I haven't met anyone who's really seen the Dream Scourge yet, but that hasn't stopped people from worrying about the rumors. Refugees are flooding in from outlying regions. The guards are restricting access to the city. And people are making offerings to the gods for everything from hangovers to indigestion, just in case. Not much. It's hard to separate fact from rumor. I've heard it changes people, makes them confused, disoriented, and eventually violent. No one seems to know exactly how it starts. I like your confidence, just be careful how you express it. Unfortunately, the presence of so many Adiran troops and the rumored exploits of the Steel Garrote Paladins supporting them is only making a tense situation worse. I think that's why the Clavenger accompanied your ambassador. I was in rough shape when I came to Paradise a few years back. Clavenger Amond helped me get settled here. If he's gotten into trouble, the least I can do is help him out of it. Especially if he's following up on rumors of the Dream Scourge. But what about you? What's your stake in things? Besides your orders, of course. Someone once told me you need more than a little crazy to last out here. I get the feeling you'll fit right in. I'll let you get some rest, but thanks for talking. It's good to be part of a squad again, even if it's just for a while. It's the gateway to the living lands, a scenic port city that's as beautiful and dangerous as the wilds around it. Most visitors enjoy some mariner's porridge at the Ballarock, a back alley shakedown, and then the sudden return of that porridge out of one end or the other. Then, if they've got any sense, they turn around and take their chances back where they came from, with authentic tales of their adventures in the living lands. Don't get me wrong, it's a great city. In part because it's great at winnowing out people who have no business being here. The Living Lands means a hard-won second chance for the people who settle here. But first, you've got to survive it. And the island gives no quarter. For a lot of people, the Living Lands is a last resort. They come fleeing war, debt, famine, the law. Take your pick. For others, it's freedom. To seek glory, to redefine yourself, to live in a way you can't, maybe even on pain of death wherever you come from. Little of everything. Rawatai is famous for storms and rocky soil, so I figured if I'm going to live in a hostile environment, why not pick some place where things grow? It seemed like a good idea at the time. Used to be. If you could last out here, you could count on being left alone. That's what some fear. Ilgard's new embassy and this alliance with the Steel Garrote smell like the authority and order that a lot of people came here to leave behind. But I don't mean to put that on you. I imagine you're tired of having to answer for every Adiran who sneezes into somebody's stew. They say people afflicted with it have strange, vivid dreams and start confusing them with reality. What starts as a light daze becomes severe disorientation and eventually a bent towards chaotic violence. And then, fungal growths take over your body. So Dream Scourge. Well, you seem pretty lucid to me. I wouldn't worry. Still, if you see any new mushrooms sprouting up anywhere unexpected, let me know. Until then, look on the bright side. The Living Lands is filled with people and things that are likelier to kill you first. So did my commanding officers. That must have been 6 years ago now. I guess I was drifting, looking for a change. I was living in a settlement called Thirdborn. It's a rugged little place, lots of Rawatayan expatriates. Yeah, something like that. Anyway, we were talking about something else, yeah? I joined up with the Rawatayan Navy as soon as I was old enough. I was part of our campaign to establish a foothold in the Deadfire Archipelago. Part of a long-term effort to reclaim our ancestral homeland and feed Rawatai from Deadfire's fertile soil. I believed in that mission. Additionally, we were helping Deadfire, bringing organization to the pirate-ridden archipelago and civilization to our distant Wana cousins. Yeah, the Juana didn't want us there. We spent almost as much time fighting the tribes as we did pirates and Wilder. And it was hard to see how any of our fighting and dying was feeding people back home. I'd always heard that war was supposed to temper us, strengthen us, but I didn't see that either. I deserted, and I bounced between different mercenary companies for almost 10 years. Hey, not all of us catch on so quick. Besides, there were only so many options for a Rawatayan deserter with no training and anything else. As a mercenary, I figured I could at least choose my battles and my crew. I ended up here, didn't I? It was more of the same. The only comfort was being part of a squad. By the time I came to the Living Lands, I'd seen enough, had enough. I did. Yeah, for a while. Look, if I can give you some hard-won advice, stay on your toes. You're in a difficult position. Whatever your role asks of you, make sure it's something you're willing to give. Because you're the one who has to live with the consequences. Hey, advice is easy. The hard part's all you. What gave it away? My finely pointed teeth, or the striking blue of my scales? The real question is why not? Rauatai's hardly a hospitable environment. Many of us end up settling elsewhere or making a living on the go. That's where you get the popular image of the Amawa bodyguard or mercenary. Don't sell me short. I've also been a drifter, a middling carpenter, and a terrible card player. We should play sometime. I'll show you. A thump on the back and a crack on the skull from a brother who says you should visit more. It's complicated. I guess home usually is. Lashed by storms and battered by waves. We call it the rough country. And old trenchers say it's made us who we are. We do a lot of digging for irrigation, drainage, warfare, the occasional village tournament. Anyone from Rauatai has spent enough time in some kind of hole in the ground to be on a first-name basis with the worms. So, trenchers. Those of us who leave are scramble roots, hardy weeds that can survive just about anywhere. Then it won't surprise you that many leave. And not just because of the hardships. The land can't support everyone. Not that we don't do our damnedest to beat it into shape. Our coral masons have built living harbors and fortifications along the coast to protect our ships and shelter our cities. For all our shortage of fertile soil, Rauatai's land is abundant in saltpeter, copper, iron, most of the other materials you need to outfit your military with weapons and cannons. We value struggling and striving together. It helped us survive and build one of the most powerful navies in Aora. It's been hard won across a variety of conquests, cooperatives, and trading colonies. Some of the traditionalists worry that prosperity is making us as complacent and soft-handed as our rivals. Same as traditionalists everywhere. Me, I prefer the simplicity of the living lands. Kill the thing that's trying to kill you, and hope it has some edible meat on it. I'll tell you what I can. I'll be here if you need me.
locals realize how much good we're doing. The locals are bound to like us eventually.
In search of lost treasures. Have you heard any rumors of such things in the area? It's a fine day for adventuring. Pretty scary.
Please, how hard is it to answer a question? I can't believe how rude everyone is around here. How hard could it be to find a watcher? I have a little money, if that's what you mean. I assumed I'd have to pay the watcher, though. I have a strange problem, you see. Something more like. A band of Zorips invaded my house. What am I gonna do? I don't know. Maybe they're drawn to a spirit there? I've tried everything else. I'm sorry, I'm overwhelmed. I did ask the militia. They weren't risking their lives for a poor shelter folk. First, my ship gets attacked by pirates. Then none of my plants will take. Now this happens? And they won't let me into Paradise to sort it out? The militia. They're scared of some plague. At least that's what they say. I wonder if it's really the Adirans. Keep us out and themselves in. I should never have come here.
Come here for a better life and find a worse one. Wish I hadn't heard that before.
It's hard to put it into words. I just feel like I should be here. I'd heard it was dangerous, but the Glenfathan wilds were dangerous. I thought I was prepared. I had no idea what I was in for. I wanted to grow a little food, save some skates. They never thrived, that's all. Clearly, I have bigger things to worry about. crops. Is it in the crops? As if things couldn't get any worse. Then take my house key. It's northwest of here. That cabin on the cliff all by itself. Gods know I can't go back. And there's nothing to steal either. The Zoribs saw to that. Come back when you've dealt with them. And make sure you get their leader, too. I'm sorry, but I don't think they'll go quietly. You'll have to kill them. Never thought I'd miss that dingy little place. Oh, please tell me I can go home now. Then I'll still be here. I have nowhere else to go.
You're standing in my light.
Haven't you heard it's not polite to stare?
Greetings, friend. You look like you could use a fine weapon or a sturdy shield. Not to worry, Walter is here. I suggest you take a look at my wares before you speak to Daggerda. Who knows what mood she's in today? From legitimate sources, clearly. From traders and adventurers, mostly, and a few used pieces from people down on their luck. Apologies, friend. People see me selling weapons on the harbor and call my morals into question. I assure you, all of my wares have been vetted for quality and polished thoroughly to remove any unwanted stains. Well, I believe my wares speak for themselves. Figuratively, I mean.
What harm could... Heading out to the wilds? Make sure you have everything you need. You don't want to...
Kai, I told you not to show your face around here again.
Come on. You're not still mad about that hunting knife, are you?
All right, no. You're clear. But you better pay up front this time.
I knew you'd come around. You miss me.
I'll let you think that. I don't mind him. What are you interested in? Yeah, some of the oldest in Paradise. He's a headache, but that's because you want him to come back alive.
So you do care.
I lied to the Garrote for you. Do I have to spell it out?
protect that pretty face. Armor and shields for sale, envoy.
Welcome to Dawnshore, traveler. My name is Dagerda. You seem like you could use a nice potion or a bite to eat. And I promise a safe and pleasant transaction, despite whatever Volter told you. Oh, I'm sure he did. He'd rather chase off my customers than admit he was wrong. To be honest, stranger, I'm not inclined to go into it. He knows what he did, and let's leave it at that.
Thanks for taking Kai off my hands.
Nice to see you again. How can Volter be of assistance?
Be the Imperial envoy that just arrived. Hello.
Darling, you don't think that...
I don't know. I'm sure you're very busy, envoy. But do you know of any other ships from Adir that are slated to arrive soon? Is it that easy to tell? Gods, I must be losing my touch.
We're waiting for our son, you see. He's been living in Adir for a number of years now, but is finally coming home.
I just hope he doesn't meet any trouble. I couldn't bear the thought of losing him, too. Not after...
After we lost our little girl. She was working as a mercenary in the Deerwood. Last we heard, she was traveling to Gilded Vale to check in on Alfra, our other daughter.
But she never made it. We can only assume the worst. I can only pray that you're right, but my gut tells me otherwise.
Apologies, envoy, but we need to keep an eye out for our son. Be safe out there. The Living Lands are unlike anywhere else in Aora.
Thank you.
May the gods watch over you.
Still, there's some... I'm great.
The lighthouse was a gift from the Animancers of Yore. You should see it at night. It's breathtaking.
If this can hold me, you'll be fine. Just don't look down.
They weren't much of an artist, but I think that's upstream by the park.